Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another review. Yep, I'm back to do another part of Spongebob. This time we're going to be doing part 3 out of 4 of season 2. Hopefully this time I actually had to redo this video because I accidentally stopped the video. So hopefully I don't do that this time. But yeah, I'm basically going to be doing this. So yeah. And I do have a confession to make for you guys. I did mess up something in the video. I will reveal what it is when we get later into the video, but I did mess something up. There was a little bit of an error. I couldn't fix it, but it's not like the biggest thing. But yeah, I'm trying to work on improving my videos and all that. So I'll explain about it when I get to it. But there is a little bit of a mistake there, but it's the only mistake that I think there is. Hopefully, So yeah. But if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. See if I'm wanting to get to 1K subs. If you get to 1K subs, I'll give you guys a super reward video. We are getting closer and all that. We are getting actually very close. We're actually almost at 600 subs. So, if you guys can get me to 1K subs, I will give you guys a super reward video. And remember, guys, this is my opinion and all that. So, if you guys want, you guys can leave your own opinions down in the comments below. And all that. And as for the following stuff from now on, I'm going to reveal where you can follow me at the end of the video. So that way the videos are not as long. Because I feel like when I have to explain, where to follow me at in each video, I feel like it makes the videos a little bit longer, So, yeah, you guys can follow me, on, these platforms I will reveal at the end of the at the end of the videos. And, if I have anything else to say about them, I will reveal it at the, towards the beginning, But I'm going to try to reveal it at the end of the videos. I keep saying episodes, it's videos. But I guess without any further ado, let's go ahead and actually get into the review. Our first up video, or episode to talk about is episode 21 of season 2, and that is Squirrel Jokes. Now this episode we're starting out with is actually a very mixed bag episode. Yeah, it is a very mixed bag. And what I mean by that is a lot of people love and hate this episode. It's kind of like a very mixed bag, like, hardly anybody I think I've heard actually says they think it's alright. Most people either love the episode or hate it. And the biggest problem with the episode is the fact that Sandy, a lot of people do not like the way Sandy is treated in the episode. A lot of people talk about, how Sandy is very mistreated and all that. While others actually other people point out things like, that's, Sandy, well, yeah, Sandy being mistreated kind of sucks and all that, but, on the other hand, they actually talk about, make some good jokes in the episode, too, that people really like. But for me, though, I'm going to go ahead and say this episode is a meh for me. I'm in the middle here, and I'm going to go ahead and just get a score out of the way. It's a meh, and then I'm going to give it 56 points. Yeah, 56 points. This is actually where I actually messed up and actually stopped the video because I was trying to pause it and all that to get to... Because I'm trying to start pausing the every time I go to the score. I actually forgot to do that this time around, but... I don't know. I think I'm probably going to just... For the longer videos, I might just do it like this for right now until I get the hang of it, but... Because my fingers keep slipping and all that and messing things up, so I'm probably just going to do it like this, but... It just saves kind of time when I got to pull the scoring up and all that, but... Anywho, yeah, I think this one is meh. Honestly, I don't hate or love this episode. I think it's in the middle because, yeah, I really feel bad for Sandy. I think the mistreatment goes a little too far. Now, I get that this is kind of supposed to be, I think, like, making jokes, because there are like times where people will make jokes about stuff like for example, like they'll do these talk shows and all that where like they'll make fun of people and all, like there was one where I think they did David Hasselhoff. I think it was David Hasselhoff they did one. I can't remember. My dad was actually watching that, and yeah, we had like I saw like Gilbert Gottfried, may he rest in peace, was actually talking about that stuff and all that, like, and roasting him and all. I think that's where they kind of were trying to go. But the problem is, though, is I think they go a little too far with it, and like SpongeBob ends up making fun of Sandy being stupid, and then, makes fun of, like her being stupid, and then her giant teeth and all that, and also the way she smells. Like I like. Actually, wait. Did he do that in the episode? I can't remember. He did make fun of fish smelling, but I don't know. But the problem is, I think they go a little too far. And SpongeBob does bring a good point. He's like just making jokes and all that, like, because again, people make fun of themselves all the time, which is true. And she makes fun of himself as well, But that's the thing, though. I thought that they go too far with it, and they even make people make fun of Sandy. Yeah, Sandy's being made fun of throughout the entire episode. They're just making fun of her. Because she's an idiot and all that, which SpongeBob actually, by the way, points out that she's not an idiot. And actually, this is something I want to point out in the video that this kind of brings up the whole, the whole thing and all that with, he brings up that she's the smartest, person in the Bikini Bottom. Which is very ironic because, again, they don't really show her doing any scientific stuff or any knowledge stuff or anything like that. Yeah, they show like, they basically show more so of Sandy's, like, karate and tough side. And then later in the post-movie era, they'll start showing more of her scientific stuff, too. So it's kind of interesting to see that they at least haven't forgot about it, but it does kind of suck that pre-movie Tim's only have like one episode, which was Sandy's Rocket, where they actually focus on this stuff. But yeah, I don't know. But I don't know. I just don't have a lot to say about it. But I will say this. Like, the reason why I'm giving it a meh is because at the end, like, I'll say SpongeBob does actually, SpongeBob does, like, turn it around and make, fun of other people and all that, and there are some jokes in here and all that, like, there are some jokes where, like, SpongeBob, makes actually some funny jokes, like, the bronze fish joke, and then they had the cricket joke, or, like, the cricket even stops, like, clapping, Actually, I guess the cricket, like, actually make more so like the cricket. I guess the joke is the cricket's the only one making sound like laughing. I don't know. That's a very old running joke they've done throughout cartoons, but I do like that they put a little twist on it. That's pretty funny. It's a live action cricket and all that. Like, it's pretty funny, but for the most part, this one is very meh, and it's a very middle meh. Like, it's not bad, like, it's not close to bad. Like, I will watch it again, but it really does frustrate me at times as well. Like, I can see why people don't like this one, but now we're gonna go on to the next episode. Next up is Pressure. Pressure is next, which ironically, is another Sandy-themed episode, which I guess this one is focusing on SpongeBob again as well. So it's another SpongeBob and Sandy themed episode. Like, and what's odd about this, so this one, first before I talk about the episode itself, we're gonna talk about the fun fact here, which, this one's kind of sad. This is the last episode where we hear the, Cha-Cha Nava, or Nova music. I don't know how to pronounce that, Nava or Nova. Music, which really sucks. This is the last episode to have it in here, I believe. I'm pretty sure this is the last time we hear it. I could be wrong, but I think I remember, like, watching the episode and this being the last one, so, I don't know, maybe putting a fun fact in here wasn't the best, but, like, I don't know, like, I'm pretty sure, like, I've watched Evolution tracks and all that, and, it's not here. But the thing is, though, is, some of these tracks have come back, but this one seems to be, has been lost throughout time, which really sucks. It actually appears in the actual theme song, the title card itself, and then it appears, when they land on the beach. But it really does suck that they quit using this track. Because I really like it. I could have sworn it played in Krusty... Oh, it played in Krusty Love, too, didn't it? Like, didn't that episode come out later? I don't know, like... Okay, that might be false information. If that's the case, my bad. I thought I've already reviewed Krusty Love. Maybe I did it. I don't know. I gotta look back at that. Like, I don't know. If not, I'll correct it. I'll correct it. Like when I upload the video or like upload future videos, I'll correct it. But I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is the last time I remember hearing it, though. That's the thing, though. But they barely use this track at all, even in pre-movie. Like, this is one of the tracks they barely use, and it really sucks, because I actually like it. It's very catchy, and it makes me wish they could bring it back. But, so far, I don't think it's returned yet. Now, with old writers returning to Spongebob, I've been hearing some older writers are coming back. Maybe they might bring the track back. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but that's the problem. Like, it just kind of sucks that it kind of disappeared, too, but... That's kind of what it is there, but this episode, though, I'm going to talk about the episode now. The episode itself basically has SpongeBob and Sandy trying to prove one or the other is better. And honestly, there are a lot of funny jokes in this episode. Well, number one, first off, it actually shows Sandy's squirrel badge. So, they show the badge, which is interesting because, by the way, the badge, her season 1 model does not have the badge either, so she doesn't have not only has the tail, but the badge is not there. Personally, I don't mind the squirrel badge being there. I'm kind of fine with that. I don't really like her tail sticking out because, again, that's a suit. She's supposed to have a suit to breathe and all, or in the air, so I think it's a little too much, but I'm guessing they changed her design so that way maybe people can tell better it's a squirrel. I don't know why they changed her design. I don't know if they revealed it or not, like in like bonus features on DVDs or not. I don't know. I just find it kind of weird, but I've talked about that before and all that. But yeah, it's interesting. But the thing is, though, is they basically go back and forth and all that. And the thing is, though, is what's amazing about this episode, unlike a lot of other cartoons that fail at this, even Teen Titans Go, by the way, Teen Titans Go did this shit too. They did this as well. If you guys don't know, I told you guys I hate that show. Like, I've heard some people like it, and they can like it. I don't care. It's their opinion. But for me, I hate that show so much. But they always tackle bad stuff and all that, like bad topics. This is one of those topics they failed at with boys versus girls and all. They've done that, like, in not just Teen Titans Go, and other cartoons too. Johnny Test has done this a few times too. It feels like all these cartoons could easily make this shit right, but somehow they make it wrong. I don't know what happens there, but this one, actually, it's not boys versus girls, it's actually mammals versus sea creatures. But what I really like, though, is throughout the entire episode, they're trying to prove one or the other is better. But then, like, Sandy takes off her suit, and, some people think this is a little messed up, and, I've heard some people don't like the episode because of the way Sandy's treated. Number one, Sandy took off the suit herself and all that, which, again, is kind of stupid of her to do. Like, again, she's supposed to be this smart person, or smart squirrel and all that, and does that. But number two, like, Sandy, what started the whole damn thing with, that, like, making fun of Spongebob and all that, so it's not really like you should feel super bad for her and all that, and then, they do go to, like, the surface and all that, and then she saves them and all that, and apparently, oh yeah, by the way, I want to point this out about the, I actually could not find much information on this, actually, I had that, I meant to write this one down, but forgot about it. I actually don't even have anything written down, because I couldn't think of a lot, but there's a weird part where they're on sea. I mean, they're not on the sea, they're above land, and you can see, it looks very weird, but they're like puppets. They're not even CGI. I can't remember what happened around that, but apparently, yeah, they're, like, this is the only time where we see them, like, they're not CGI'd in. They're actually, like, they're on sticks. Like, Sandy and the rest of the characters were on sticks. They're on sticks and all that. And I love that we see Squidward. Squidward actually has his normal eyes and all that, but, like, it's an actual octopus. I kind of find it kind of weird that they did that, though. Like, I wonder, like, why they use props like that. I can't remember. I think I saw something online, but I cannot remember. Maybe next time, maybe, like, when I talk about another time they go on land, because this will happen many times down the road, I'll bring this up, because like I told you guys, this is the only time where they actually do this, and all that, and they're like this, And I don't know, because the thing is, though, even, like, I mean, they didn't do this really, at all, really, I feel like, in Season 1, like, there was, like, I think there was maybe a couple incidents, but, like, we had Squidward, like, we had him, like, in a bubble and all that, like, in the surface and all that, but, like, which is all live action, but for the most part, they kind of, for the most part, they kind of kept it kind of, like this and all. I don't know, it's kind of weird, like, honestly, though, they will actually, by the way, they will change their, like, depending on the episodes, too, by the way, they will change the way they look. On land. So sometimes, like, they'll be like, well, like, for example, they're on sticks and look like puppets and all that. And then, like, then they'll just be, like, live action, more realistic looking, creatures, like, where they're just CGI'd and all that, like, well, they're not CGI, like, they're props, but, like, for example, like, there's an episode in, like, season 7 where, like, they go to Texas for this rodeo and all that, and like they look like this, but they're not like, well, Squidward, like, actually I don't know if we see Squidward or not there, but you can see that they have, like, the similar models, but they're not like, but they don't look like, they do here and all that, it's kind of interesting there. And then, like, the SpongeBob movie, which we'll get to down the road, like, both of them, like, the first one, they're, like, 2D animated, and in the second one, they're, like, CGI, and then even in Season 1 with Squidward and all that, they're like, Squidward's 2D in a bubble and all that, so clearly they kind of go, like, back and forth with it. Heck, even Texas, they're technically 2D and all until the bubble pops and all that, which, I don't want to spoil too much about later episodes, but I'm just giving you guys examples, like, it's weird how they change it up all the time, but they do, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about the puppets. They're kind of a little bit weird and all, but, I mean, they're not, like, bad, but, like, Squidward's is kind of a little bit too weird, but they're not, like, bad, but, like, I don't know, I just don't know how I feel about it. But, yeah, I do like how Sandy saves the day, beats up the seagulls and all that. They're trying to eat them, and then, like, they're trying to eat them and all, because seagulls actually do eat, seafood. and all that. They eat seafood. I like how Patrick is actually in the freaking seagull's mouth. That's pretty funny. Like, I don't know, can a seagull actually eat a starfish? Can they actually eat a starfish? I mean, I don't know if they can or not. Especially, I mean, if they're dry and all that. I don't know if a seagull could eat a starfish. Probably have a hard time swallowing that, but especially if it's dry, but I don't know. But I do like how at the end of the episode it reveals that, again, like, that nobody is, you know, perfect. Like, nobody is perfect and all that. And I even like that we get the seagulls at the end saying hooray. Like, I guess they can speak and all that, and their feathers are off. It's very funny, but that's the thing though. I feel like this episode does what a lot of cartoons fail at, and that they try to make one side look better than the other, when in reality both have problems. Nobody's perfect, you know? Nobody's good at everything, and I like that. They even say that in this episode. It's really good. And that's why I think this episode, in my opinion, doesn't deserve a bad or a meh. In fact, it deserves a good. And then I'm also going to be giving it, I'm going to go ahead and just do this. I'm going to be giving it 120 points. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I was trying to switch out the, like, the score system for you guys, because I gave different score to sounds effects for, this stuff, but yeah, this episode's definitely very good. I definitely really like this and all that. It's definitely a very good episode. Definitely one of the like the best probably in pre-movie, you know, episodes of, you know, SpongeBob. It's got a great message and all that. It's funny, like, not the most funniest episode ever, but it's definitely very funny. Like, I think people are gonna have a good time laughing with this one. Especially the whole part with Mr. Krabs saying, it's free, and all that with breathing. That's pretty funny. But anywho, enough about this episode. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is, the Smoking Peanut. Yeah, the Smoking Peanut's next. And speaking of funny, my god, this episode is fucking hilarious. This episode is hilarious. And mainly from Patrick. Patrick is fucking hilarious in this episode. I love Patrick in this episode. Patrick is hilarious. Like, Patrick is hilarious. So, one thing I will say, some people don't like this episode. Kind of like the last one, it's kind of mixed as well, but not as bad, I've noticed. Actually, you know what, I'm thinking of more squirrel jokes. The last episode, there's some people that don't like it, but not a lot. This one is kind of like squirrel jokes where some people are mixed on it, but it's not as bad. And the main reason why is because throughout the entire episode, we have to listen to this clam, like, crying because, you know, someone threw a peanut at her, you know, which, is SpongeBob. SpongeBob threw a peanut at her, and all that, and, it upsets her and all that, and throughout the entire episode, we gotta listen to the thing screaming and crying. But for me, though, I don't think it's that bad. Like, I think, like, it doesn't get too distracting. Like, I feel like, for me at least, like, it's not that bad. Like, I actually kind of like, I kind of like some of the moments that go on. They do a pretty good job about it getting in the way and all that. Like, it's pretty nice. But I do like that they do this whole thing and all where SpongeBob is concerned about what happened and all that because he threw a peanut at this clam, which I want to point this out, by the way. So speaking of, like, you know how I talked about in the last episode I just reviewed how, like, they keep changing the way like the characters, you know, appear on land and then the live action real world. This one's the same way, like with the clams. I don't know if I've talked about it before, but if I haven't, I'll bring it up here. So, basically in this episode, the clam, or I guess the oyster, it would be an oyster, throughout the entire show, we'll see, like, different ways they look. Like, sometimes they'll be birds, sometimes they'll be dogs, sometimes they'll be, sometimes they'll be, like, I don't know, they'll be random stuff. It's very weird, like it is very weird how they change up them, oh yeah, I guess, by the way, there is an episode, too, where they actually speak, too. I mean, I guess it's fun, they speak during, like, they do speak. But it's very weird. Like, it's very weird, like, how they change it throughout the entire, show. But, yeah, there is a joke, I'm not gonna reveal it right now, but there is a joke, like, in season 4, where they make a joke about that. It's pretty funny and out of nowhere, but that's the thing, that, like, it's very weird how they do this. Like, they cannot make up their minds what they're doing with these clams. But I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit confused, but at the same time, like, I kind of like it. They do come up with some good plots. Like, speaking of plots, there will be one called Rockabye Bow in season 3 that I'll be talking about. More on that one later, but that's actually a pretty good episode. And I'll just say it right now, it does something that, like, an episode I've already reviewed did that they failed horribly at. But I'll get to that one, when we get to that one. And, they basically it made it a lot more enjoyable, but you guys might already know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I will say that, but I do like how, like, I do like some of the jokes, like, I do like Mr. Krabs' free thing, and Mr. Krabs apparently is showing up, he's showing up out of nowhere and all that, like, apparently taking stuff, balloons and all that, with free stuff and all, which, I guess there's more free balloons, so, there's a free balloon, so I guess SpongeBob and Patrick can get a free balloon again. They can get a free balloon, but, but, yeah, it's kind of crazy and all that, what happened there, but, with the, so crazy what happened to that balloon, but, yeah, they can get a free balloon again and all that, but, yeah, apparently Mr. Krabs is in there, for some reason wearing a mustache, too. I don't know why he's wearing a mustache, but, he's wearing a mustache and all that, and then we got, like, Sandy's, like, a quote on SpongeBob, like, that, like, wow, like, SpongeBob doesn't have hair, or does he? Like, that's a very, adult joke and all that. It's very funny, but, and like I said, by far my favorite joke is Patrick. Patrick in general is fucking funny. Like, and I'll tell you, one of the best jokes of Patrick, probably in the entire show, is probably there's a joke where Patrick apparently is licking, a SpongeBob ice cream cone. So I really do like that. So he's literally freaking licking an ice cream cone. It's a very dirty and adult joke as well, and it's really funny and all that. And I'm not gonna lie. Call me crazy and all that. But when I was little, when I watched the episode, I thought Patrick literally tore a piece of SpongeBob off of it. It was literally eating SpongeBob, and I thought that's why the cops came in and all after, because cops came in after that, and arrested him, because I thought that's why, I don't know why I thought that, because it literally reveals that, Patrick literally, is, got arrested because he was accused of causing the oyster to get upset, which, by the way, SpongeBob was the one who did that with a peanut and all that. So he goes and tries to, to defend him and all that, which I really like that, they have that and all that, and, I like how Patrick is just sitting there, like, I'm not even sure what the hell is going on. I think he's just like tired of hearing SpongeBob just, like, talking and talking. It's really funny, but apparently it was not a peanut at all that caused the disaster. Which, by the way, I don't think that's why the cops arrested Patrick. I think they arrested him because they saw evidence there. I don't think they thought it was a peanut, but I don't know. To be fair, he got peanuts thrown at him, on the stage. So I don't know. But apparently it's revealed that Mr. Krabs, Mr. Krabs, by the way, was the one who upset Pearl. Or not Pearl, or not Pearl, that's Mr. Krabs' daughter, the oyster. And apparently, that Pearl is actually an egg, and apparently, so Mr. Krabs, stole that, which, I mean, in this episode, I will give him some slack. It's not like he probably knew that, he was there collecting free stuff. I'm not, he was acting kind of sus at the beginning of the episode, but it's not like I think he meant to actually steal it for himself and all that, but that's the thing, though, and all that, Mr. Krabs is starting to get to the point where he is becoming a horrible criminal and all that, and causing a bunch of trouble, but in this one, I felt like he wasn't trying to intend, it's because I kind of feel like his punishment felt a little bit unnecessary at the end, but it is still a very heartwarming, ending and all that. I have to say, this episode, in my opinion, is definitely going to get a good, and definitely going to get also 120 points. Yep, I'm giving this one 120 points. This one is also very good. It's very funny. It's got adult jokes in it, and I really do like it a lot. It's really funny. Definitely a really good episode. I can see why some people might find it annoying, but for me, though, I think this episode is a good for me. Next up, we have another episode here. This one's actually a very interesting episode we're going to talk about. First off, I want to talk about the fun fact here. Now, this one actually was revealed in revealed in a post video and all that, they made on the extras on the DVD release of I think the season 2 DVD release, which, by the way, I actually have it. Basically, it reveals apparently that there's actually a perfume scene in this episode, and apparently SpongeBob and Patrick are apparently running inside a Macy's perfume department. So I know Macy's is a struggling brand, but I guess SpongeBob can find a way to keep it alive, I guess, even if it goes under, with a nice perfume section. It's actually very blurry and all that, so they don't really show much of the Macy's store, but it's still very funny and all that. But that's only the part of the episode. This episode is very interesting because one particular thing, well, actually two. Number one, not only it features Patchy the Pirate and the Flying Dutchman in it, which, by the way, are two they're very rare occurring characters. As the show goes on, they'll get kind of rarer. Well, I mean, Patchy will appear a bit more, but after season 2, the Flying Dutchman only appears once per season, and then he disappears for a while, which I'll get to that down the road. He disappears. But yeah, he disappears in the episode. I mean, in the series and all that. But I guess Patchy kind of does too. But the thing is, though, is they both have an episode together and all that. And what makes this episode very interesting is you might want to know why Patchy's in this episode. Well, Patchy's in this episode because they started featuring him in every special. This episode is technically a special. However, it's only a special in certain releases of the episode. So I talked about the how in the DVD menu and all that, how they'll have extras. This is the Macy's part I was talking about. So they actually do commentary, post commentary over one of the episodes, and they talk about the episode. However, I don't think it's possible. If I remember correctly, it's not possible to watch the entire episode with the whole thing, unless you have, the 100 episodes of SpongeBob. Which I actually have that too. I actually bought that because when I was little, I didn't take very good care of my, DVDs. It wasn't until when I was older I took better care of this stuff, so a lot of my stuff got tore up by bad. But yeah, I did. I actually rebought this DVD down the road. I found it at Goodwill. I think I showed it off on YouTube for you guys on Goodwill, in like Mexico, Missouri. I showed it off. But what makes this episode very interesting is, so Patchy the Pirate is supposed to be hosting, the voting and all that. See, people apparently were able to vote for what ending they wanted for the episode. Because apparently so what happens is, Squidward and Spongebob and Patrick apparently climb this anchor that apparently, hits Squidward's house. I'm not entirely sure why Spongebob and Patrick are tagging along too, but they are. Then they end up on the Flying Dutchman's ship, which surprisingly Squidward is like, apparently doesn't believe in ghosts or something. Which will also be a recurring gag. They'll do that throughout the entire show, or they'll change it up. Because, actually, I don't know if it was ever revealed if Squidward believed in ghosts or not, but Mr. Krabs, they'll go back and forth on that, too. They'll go back and forth on that as well, but yeah, basically what happens is, in Shanghai is apparently, Squidward gets taken out, because apparently the Flying Dutchman is sick of them and all, and it decides to, like, force SpongeBob and Patrick to be, they're basically stuck on the ship, forced to, like, be his crew and all that, and, I like how he slowly starts losing it as time goes on and gets sick of them. It's pretty funny, which, by the way, yeah, making him part of this crew is probably the most stupidest thing he could probably do. But what he decides to do is apparently eat them because he's fed up with them, which is why they go to the whole perfume department in the first place. They go to the perfume department to basically escape him and all that. Which actually, I think they actually do find a way to get out of there, so, that was the only way out. But yeah, apparently, the Flying Dutchman's gonna eat them, which I'm just like, he can eat them, but, like, won't he just shit them out, or, like, won't they just go right through him, I don't know, that's kind of weird how ghost logic works, but, like, or hell, you'd be stuck listening to them in your stomach, like, like, throughout the entire, like, all eternity. Like, that would be kind of annoying to just hear your stomach talk to you. I don't know, it'd just be kind of annoying, but, I figured if he just get rid of them, like, I don't know why he wanted to eat them. I don't know why he just doesn't just get rid of them. That'd be probably a lot more smarter, but, I don't know, but because they're trying to avoid it, they steal his sock and all that, and apparently, he gives them 3 wishes, which I guess makes the Flying Dutchman a genie, I guess, which, well, it makes a little bit of sense because, he does have all these powers. He has all these powers, but the Flying Dutchman gives them 3 wishes, they blow it on 2 wishes, and then the final the final wish, apparently, this is where the whole, wish thing comes in and all that, and I actually want to point this out real quick before I continue on with the whole review. I know I'm talking about the soundtrack a lot throughout the, entire reviews, but I want to point this one out, because this is very interesting. So, the Tip Top Polka music and the Ring Hornpipe music, by the way, both actually play in this episode. They both play in this episode, and it doesn't take place at the Krusty Krab at all. It's not even revealed at the Krusty Krab. So it's very interesting to hear the music, playing in a non-Krusty Krab music, place. I guess to be fair though, the Tip Top Polka track did originate in Jellyfishing, but it still was used pretty much in the Krusty Krab. It was the Krusty Krab theme, and so was the Rank Hornpipe track. So the fact that they both play in a non, they both play in a non, Krusty Krab themed episode that doesn't even have Mr. Krabs in it is pretty crazy. I want to know what Mr. Krabs is gonna do if they're gone forever. Like, what would he do? He could hire probably new people, but, like, He's gonna want to work for somebody who's a cheapskate, you know? I don't know. But, what happens is, though, so the whole wish thing and all that is, in the 100 episodes version, which is the extended version, they actually have, 3 wishes, and they apparently, the people were able to vote on which one they want. Ironically, though, SpongeBob's the best one at the end. Because Patrick ends up wanting just gum. He wants just gum, and apparently Squidward wishes not to, meet them. And which is, they're pretty funny, they're pretty funny, jokes and all that too. But SpongeBob is the only one where they actually don't get eaten at the end of the episode. Which, by the way, we also see the Flying Dutchman with hair, we see him with hair again. Apparently, he's a vegetarian and has hair. Like, also, we see him wearing a shoe. So I guess he decided they made him a wish, and then he turned into this vegetarian. I guess he wears shoes now, which is kind of weird. I do kind of like that. But by the way, the sock too as well. The sock they were trying to threaten him with also appears in the Shoes Untied episode as well. They talked about that, which is kind of weird. So it's kind of weird, like they had him wearing a shoe and all, which he talked about not wearing for over 5,000 years? I don't know. It's a pretty long time, but I know it's kind of weird. But it's even weirder how, again, SpongeBob's is the one that actually at the end of the episode, it actually reveals that that's the happy ending. They're still stuck with the Flying Dutchman. They're not actually eaten though. My guess is that this is before Nickelodeon got very carried away with SpongeBob, and I felt like for example, Kids' Choice Awards, where they kind of screw over, I feel like people who make shows, and somehow SpongeBob wins every single year, and all that, I can understand him winning a lot of years, because SpongeBob's a very popular show, but every single year, I'm like, it seems kind of weird and all that, but there are a couple years where SpongeBob does not win, but pretty much every year he's won, which would mean, for over 20 years, SpongeBob would have won, But, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But I think perhaps maybe they were letting the fans vote, and then they probably created the whole thing and all that. I know, it's kind of weird, but yeah, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff, sadly, is lost media. I don't think it's super lost. You could probably find clips on YouTube, but you can't, apparently there was, when this episode came out, there was actually, Patchy would, host, in the commercials and all that, and, talk about stuff. Which is kind of weird. But yeah, they do show a good chunk of Patchy in this episode, which is pretty cool. And all that. However, on the actual regular DVD set, unfortunately, Patchy is kind of sucks in this episode. He barely, they kind of just throw him in there. I don't know why they didn't just keep it in there. I don't know why. Maybe Nickelodeon didn't want that in there. I don't know. It's kind of weird how the writers didn't include it in the episode. Kind of weird. I don't know. Because the next episode, by the way, is a lot shorter. So, it does make it kind of weird they didn't include it. Because even watching this episode on, Dish and cable back in the day, I never knew this existed. It wasn't until Pie Guy Rules talked about it, because that's how I found this out. Pie Guy Rules talked about it on his channel, and I'm like, that's actually kind of interesting, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know, but this episode, though, has a lot of great moments. I will say the Patchy segments are a little bit weak, but, it depends on what version you watch, but I'm not really grading the Patchy segments as much as the SpongeBob episodes. I might actually do maybe reviews separate, like Pie Guy did, maybe do a video down the road doing Patchy segments separate. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just talk about grade the episode as a whole. As a whole, this episode is getting a good. And then we're also going to be giving it 120 points. Yep, 120 points. This episode is really good. I love this one a lot. Definitely one of my favorites. Of a pre-movie era as well. And I keep saying that, but pre-movie era has got a lot of really good episodes. However, the next episode we're going to talk about is not so good, and that is Gary Takes a Bath. So I actually want to point this out for you guys. This is actually a fun fact. Apparently, so there's actually reveals in this episode, apparently a weird, transition to this woman and all that, who's like a live action. It's a very funny like picture, but apparently it's the writer of this episode. So it's kind of funny seeing her in the episode, because I was like, who is that? It was very funny. Like, I knew it wasn't Wendy's. It kind of resembled Wendy's a little bit with the hair and all, but it wasn't Wendy's. But it's very weird and random. Yeah, it was on screen for a second, but it was pretty funny, This episode actually does have a lot of jokes in it. I like it. Even has the drop the soap jokes, which I didn't know about, but I finally got an answer. Apparently, I'll go ahead and just reveal it. I won't go into too much detail just because it's a bit disturbing, but if you drop the soaps and all that, let's just say you will be getting, having some sexual problems at prison. Apparently, that's what it is. Which caused the episode to be banned in other countries. Apparently, in some other countries, this episode was banned because of that. Because of what happened there, which is very weird. But yeah, it's like a very sexual thing and all that, which I can kind of maybe understand why they banned, I don't know why they just didn't freaking ban the scene out, or like, why do they need to ban the episode as a whole? I don't really get that, like, or how they could have made it where they could have changed up the scene a little bit, like, I don't know why the hell they need to ban the whole episode, but I don't know, but yeah, it is a very dark joke, and a little too dark, honestly, but I get people go to prison for doing bad things, but, like, number one, not everybody goes to prison and does bad things. Some people get accused of stuff, and number two, yeah, getting, I'm just gonna go ahead and say, getting raped and all that's not a good thing. I think that's a bad joke. That's definitely a bad joke, and yeah, I feel like them cutting it out or leaving it out of the episode would have made more sense, but, I don't know, but yeah, I don't think they should have banned the episode either, from other countries just because of that, but there are quite a few jokes, and also SpongeBob and SpongeBob and Gary are the only characters in this episode. We see Mr. Krabs, I guess. We do see Mr. Krabs, like, he appears, like, in one scene with a dollar bill, which is pretty funny. But we only hear Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny is, like, the only voice in this episode, unless the whole phone, sequence was voiced by somebody else. Pretty much, because there's like no talking, it's just a bunch of gibberish, because that's what SpongeBob does when they're talking. On a phone, they do that. But apparently, I don't know if that's actually the case there, but yeah, for pretty much the most of the episode, at least, it's just Tom Kenny talking to himself, pretty much. Well, sort of, Gary doesn't speak, but you get what I'm talking about, like, it's basically only him speaking. Because this was technically a bit of a short and all that, so, yeah. But the thing is, though, is it has a lot of jokes in it, but boy, does this episode really piss me off at times. It really pisses me off. And, I still don't think it should be banned in certain countries. Some people do like the episode, but in my opinion, I think this episode gets way too much like and praise. Because, this episode pisses me off because, as you guys see here, the title is Gary Takes a Bath. Yeah, that's right, Gary takes a bath. A bath. He takes a bath. The title is wrong because, Gary does not take a bath. It should be called Gary is a Pain in the Ass, or, actually, that would be, could you imagine that? Like, if they actually put that in a SpongeBob title, like, just imagine that, yeah, they wouldn't do that, or they could say Gary is being a mutt. They could say that, I don't know, saying Gary takes a bath is definitely not a true statement, because he doesn't fucking take a bath. It starts out where the whole thing with SpongeBob in this episode, he's trying to talk Gary into taking a bath. And Gary is being a fucking pain in the ass and a frustrating pet and will not take a bath. And honestly, it gets very annoying after a while, and I had a very hard time ranking what I wanted for the episode, but I'm going to go ahead and say this episode, in my opinion, this one is getting a meh, and it is getting 48 points. Yeah, this one is getting 48 points. This one right here, it was very close to getting a bad. I was thinking about giving it a bad because, a good chunk of the episode is very, very funny, but a good chunk of it is also very frustrating. But I don't think it gets frustrating really until mainly the end. But the ending is what really kind of kills the episode for me. So what happens is, SpongeBob is fed up with, trying to get Gary to take a bath, so he decides to take the water to him and give him a bath. Which actually is a very smart idea. But unfortunately, Gary tricks him and all that. He falls into the freaking mud and is forced to take a bath at the end of the episode. So it's very frustrating. Like, I think Gary, like, it would have been nice if SpongeBob would have won. Like, I hate that. Like, I hate how freaking Gary actually freaking won at the end. Gary should have not have won. Gary should have lost at the end of the episode. Like, I kind of hate that. Now you could say, well, cats don't like baths, and that's not fair. Well, again, this is a cartoon, and number two, like I said, like, it's frustrating kind of seeing SpongeBob, dealing with all this crap, and all, because, Gary, stinks and needs baths. So, I mean, all pets need baths. I even have to give Chef a bath and all. And yeah, I guess to be fair, I don't give my cats baths on all that. But like, again, like, cat's claw. Gary's a snail. He has a claw and all that. But they also kind of go back and forth on Gary being a dog or a cat. They kind of do that too. But it is just very annoying and all that. I will say, though, out of this episode, we do get an iconic, we get the iconic nostalgic Hawaii music that returns. It returns at the beginning of the episode, as a title card, and then it returns at the end, which is very nice. Also, we get the iconic, Gary smiles at the end of the episode, which, by the way, when they show I think a lot of merchandise have Gary smiling like that, so it must have been a very iconic, meme. I just wish the episode itself was a lot better, but it's still watchable, but, like, by the end and all that, I kind of just don't even want to finish watching the episode just because of that, and normally I would say a lot of times that would kill an episode, but I don't know, I was kind of thinking about giving it a bad, but I was like, there's enough jokes in there, it's not, like, the most frustrating I've seen. I've seen way worse, more frustrating stuff in this show, but definitely not a great episode, definitely very overrated in my opinion. I don't understand why people like this one so much, but again, like, I will respect people's opinions. I'm just telling you guys my opinion, but anywho, let's go on to the next episode now. Next one. Welcome to the Chump Bucket. So first up, before we talk about it, we gotta talk about another fun fact, which is also another live action segment. A lot of music and live action segments and fun facts in this season, but like on the Plankton has a calendar with a picture of this guy here called, I think he's called I don't know how to pronounce his name. Let's call him Paul Cardin or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Apparently he was the creator of, or like one of the workers at least. I don't know if he was the creator or one of the workers on Flapjack, which is a Cartoon Network show, but apparently he's on there, which is pretty funny. Yeah, he's actually on there. Which, by the way, on the Flying Dutchman, by the way, the voice actor who voices the Flying Dutchman also appears in that show too. Which is again, which is what's his name? I can't remember his name. the actor. I'm trying to remember the name of the actor. Oh yeah, Bill Murray. Yeah, Bill Murray's brother and all that. Like we do get to hear you know, him in that show too, which is pretty cool. And he actually plays the same voice as the Flying Dutchman. You can tell it's the same voice. But I do like that. Yeah, basically but yeah, it's pretty cool to see that there. So this episode though is interesting though because apparently it's about apparently Mr. Krabs apparently goes to play cards with Plankton, I guess, which is basically his enemy. And SpongeBob points out it's literally his enemy, and for some reason he goes to play cards with him. I guess because Mr. Krabs has got to find some way to make money, you know. He's got to find some way to make money, you know. So he goes to play he has to play cards with Plankton. Yeah, he goes to play cards with, you know, Plankton and all, and apparently SpongeBob apparently is SpongeBob apparently gets sold to Plankton because apparently you know, Plankton finally lost a game of cards. For some reason, he really sucks at cards. He sucks ass at cards. Apparently, he cannot win a game of cards. Like, apparently, he does not know how to play a card game, I guess. But apparently, yeah, he plays cards and apparently, Mr. Krabs bets on SpongeBob, and SpongeBob gets forced to work at Plankton's place. And I just like how throughout this entire episode we see Plankton getting annoyed the hell out of SpongeBob. Like SpongeBob just annoys him and all that, and I really do like that. But I do really like that. I do like that we get to I do like how we get to see that and all that, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's definitely very funny. Definitely very funny. Also we get a musical number, which is very nice. It's a bit short, but I do really like it. Although at this point in time, Mr. Krabs' voice, by the way, it's kind of a mixture between high and low. I have talked about that Mr. Krabs' SpongeBob's voices kind of get higher and higher as the show goes on, but yeah, you can kind of tell Mr. Krabs' voice is kind of higher and low, which kind of ruins the song a little bit. It's nice and touching, but I will say, having it kind of go back and forth, it kind of makes Mr. Krabs kind of sound a little bit funny, but I wouldn't say it ruins it. Like, it's still a very good song, but definitely not one of my favorites just because of Mr. Krabs' voice, but which might sound like a hot take, but I don't know, but I still have to say I still do really like the song and all that. I also like too how at the end of the episode Mr. Krabs once again freaking scams Plankton and all that and gives him $50 just to, which is really funny. And all that. And apparently there was actually going to be there's talk that, I don't know if this is actually 100% confirmed or not, but apparently there's talk that apparently they were actually going to have a scene where they were going to have Plankton actually remove SpongeBob's brain, but they cut that out of the episode. They thought that would be too dark. I don't know if that's true or not, but people are saying like it was in production for a long time because of stuff like that. Which may be why Mr. Krabs is a bit more, because I believe this is actually the last time I believe Mr. Krabs will actually be like a fodder figure to SpongeBob. Yeah, you could say he betted on SpongeBob, but he didn't think he was going to lose, you know. And that's the problem with card games, is you can get very carried away with that stuff, or games in general. That's why I don't gamble, because of that stuff, but, yeah, I don't gamble because of things like that, but you can like, get a little carried away, but yeah, betting your own employee on something like that is, you know, it's kind of hard, but like I said, though, But like I said, I do feel like Mr. Krabs, yeah, he misses SpongeBob because SpongeBob made him money, but it feels like he looks at him more like a fodder figure. He's a fodder figure to SpongeBob and all that, and you can kind of tell in this episode he's still kind of like that. Unfortunately, like I said, as the time goes on, they start to kind of make him more and more cheap and all that, which I kind of hate. But there will be an episode later in this season that will do that, and I kind of don't care for the episode too much because of that. But we'll get to that one later. But like I said too, they have done stuff in the future too where they made his cheapness kind of nice. But sometimes I do feel like they go too far with it too. But yeah, this one's definitely very heartwarming. I like the episode. It's very funny. I'm going to go ahead and say this one deserves a good. And then it's also going to get 120 points too. Definitely a good episode. I like this episode a lot as well. Definitely a very good episode. We only got a few more episodes to go. It looks like this video is kind of get a bit longer too, but I don't know, I just have a lot to say about these episodes, you know? So, yeah, speaking of a lot to say, here's another episode. Frankendoodle is our next episode. And this episode right here, by God, this is one of the most funniest episodes of the entire show. I'm going to flat out say this. I'm going to say it right now. This episode is one of the most funniest episodes of the entire show. I guess F can be in more than one ways, you know. And I guess we get F for Frankendoodle, and then we get F for you know, for a funny episode. But what happens is apparently this writer, which by the way is played by Doug Lawrence, you know, the voice of SpongeBob, well, Plankton and Larry, you know, the lobster. Apparently he's drawing something on the middle of the ocean. I have no idea what the hell he's drawing. I guess he's just drawing something, you know. Apparently he accidentally drops his pencil in the ocean, which the narrator points out a life lesson to always bring an extra pencil, you know, which, true, I mean, you don't want to just bring one pencil and all that, and apparently this pencil, I guess, is magic because it brings things to life, so I guess this makes, the pencil, I guess, God in a way, you know, I guess God put his, you know, his hands on the pencil, and I guess it can bring shit to life. And I gotta say, there are a lot of funny moments in this episode. There's also some mean-spirited moments, which I'll probably get to when I give it a score, which will probably take it down a little bit. But I kind of want to talk about the plot first a little bit. But the whole Frankendoodle thing, apparently, SpongeBob plays a prank on Squidward and draws a drawing of him. He's called Doodlebob. But he's called Doodlebob and apparently beats up Squidward and all that. Apparently Patrick thinks it's funny, which I kind of feel bad for Squidward there. But, I mean, it's not like SpongeBob was intended to do that. He was just trying to pretend it was him and out by the door and all that. But, apparently this Doodlebob is a freaking menace. And apparently goes around and apparently, I like all the jokes. I like there's a bowling, he draws a bowling ball, a pineapple, and apparently even Patrick mistakes it as his birthday, which, I guess to be fair, it would be his birthday, because he was born that day. He was born that day, so, way to go, Patrick, you did something smart. Although giving him a rock, you know, probably not very smart, but, it's the thought that counts, I guess. Jokes aside, though, I do like how SpongeBob erases him and all that, and apparently, his hand comes back, and then apparently his hand comes back, and draws himself back, and then he draws some eyebrows, and there's just jokes throughout the entire episode. It is just funny. Like, I could go on and on, but, the video is already kind of long as it is, but, I do kind of want to go ahead and get the score out of the way. So we're going to give this one a good, and I'm also going to be giving it 100 points. Yeah, I'm giving it 100 points. And the reason why I'm giving it 100 points is I was telling you guys that I have some problems with this episode. And this might sound like a nitpick for some people, but honestly, hear me out here. The reason why I'm giving this 100 points, not 120, because I feel like that they go a little too far with Squid. They have a little too much. Like, I feel like they kind of bully Squidward a little too much in this episode. Like I get SpongeBob and Patrick are trying to play pranks, but I think they're going a little too far with it, and I kind of feel bad for Squidward. Like, I do feel bad for him and all that. But it's only on screen for a few seconds and all that, and I really feel bad for the freaking writer or the drawer in this episode. The guy's trying to fucking do some art, and yeah, it's his own damn fault for not bringing a sharpener. But like, for God's sakes, he fucking went all the way out into the middle of the ocean drawing something. I have no idea what the hell he's drawing. My guess is maybe he's drawing the island, maybe where they're at. I don't know, because it's a little island. Where SpongeBob's at. Maybe he's drawing that. I don't know. It's never revealed exactly what he's trying to draw, but he's drawing something. I just kind of feel bad for her. Like, again, I think I'm just very sensitive with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of feel bad for the artist a little bit, but. It's not that bad of an episode. For the most part, it's very good. It's just some of those nitpicks kind of take the episode down a little bit, but not enough where I think it's a meh or a bad. It's definitely a very good episode, and it's very good. Definitely one of my favorite classic SpongeBob episodes. Maybe one of my favorite of all time too. I don't know. I have to make a top 10 down the road. I don't know what my top 10 would be because there's a lot of good episodes, but Anywho, let's go on to the next episode. Next episode is the secret box. So, fun fact about this episode is, this is actually the first time, I believe, I could be wrong with this, but I think this is the first time we actually see Squidward's house alive. So what happens is Patrick apparently, has this secret box, and I guess even Squidward's house is curious, and apparently, I kind of like that joke. Ironically, Squidward does not appear in this episode at all, just his house, so it's kind of weird. Even in Dumped, same thing, like, apparently SpongeBob has a cutout cardboard of, Squidward and all, in that episode and all that, which, by the way, he tore up, so sadly it's gone. But again, the less we talk about that episode, the better. But I just wanted to bring that up because it's another case where they bring up Squidward's name, but actually don't show him in the episode, which is crazy. But yeah, I gotta say, this episode I really do like. I do really like the part where SpongeBob is so desperate to get his hands on this box, and I like to the point where he goes so desperate he literally tries to go inside Patrick's house, and he makes all this random damn noise and all that just to get the box and all that. Which by the way, doesn't wake Patrick up, but somehow talking does, which I guess would make a little bit of sense. Maybe I think some people are like that, but it's still crazy, and all that. And apparently, Patrick decides to reveal it anyway, which is a string. Apparently, though, it is not a string. It is actually, apparently a secret, picture of SpongeBob, an embarrassing shot of SpongeBob at the Christmas party. Which we actually get to hear the Christmas, the Christmas theme music again. By the way, we get to see it. We get to hear the end credit theme. A remix of the end credit theme again, which is really cool. I really like that. I like that a lot when we get to see that. I mean, to hear that, I mean, not see, because you can't see music, but, this episode right here, has a lot of theories around it about Patrick actually being smarter than he is. I'm gonna say this, Patrick, I can make a fan theory about this movie down the road, but for the most part, I think Patrick can be smart at times, but I think Patrick, for the most part, is kind of stupid and doesn't think things through very well. But there's actually other theories that there is about Patrick that I'll talk more about in season 3. But this episode definitely, brought up a lot of questions about Patrick and all that, which is crazy. But yeah, it's very crazy. But I'm gonna go ahead and say I don't have a lot else to really say about it. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it's definitely a good. And I could give this one a 100 points, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it 120. I could have gave it 100 points, but because I mean, honestly, I kind of think hiding a picture, like you could kind of question SpongeBob and Patrick's relationship, but it doesn't really. But yeah, I will say, it is kind of a little bit crazy and all, but I don't think it takes away the episode. The episode's still very funny and all that, and I do really like it a lot. I do really like the episode. I do like it a lot and all that, and I will say my other complaint, though, I will say I kind of wish we could have seen the picture of SpongeBob, but I guess they wanted to reveal it as secret. I don't know if they've actually ever showed it off down the road or not. I don't know. There is like a SpongeBob playlist on YouTube showing like it is showing SpongeBob's embarrassing, I don't know if the playlist is still there or not, or YouTube's taking it down, but there was a playlist showing SpongeBob, looking very nervous and all that at a party, but I don't think it was a Christmas party, but I don't know. I could showcase it down the road if I can find it for you guys, but it's kind of crazy there. But the video is already very long, so I probably won't show it here, but yeah, it is very crazy. We get to see that. It's definitely very crazy, but yeah, I will say this episode is definitely very good. Otherwise. But next episode, in my opinion, next episode we have is which, by the way, this is actually where I'd say I messed up here. I actually messed up here. So this episode I graded a good, but I actually meant to show the score off and all that afterwards. But because this phone here apparently it will not let me show the color pink. And if I go to like Instagram where I make my post on it and I do that, it will actually put it all the way at the end. I thought about doing that because it's like closer to the end is my list here, as you see here. Because I got one more episode to review after this, but I felt like that would have been kind of a pain to do because I'm like, I have to backtrack and all, and it might make it worse. So I decided not to do that, because it might make things worse. I'm trying to make the videos look as best as I can, but yeah, that was a little bit of an error I made in the video, but I wanted to go fix it, but again, I was worried I might make it worse, because I've tried doing that before and made things worse, That's kind of why I've been doing these videos, a little at a time, just so that doesn't happen, but, that said, though, yeah, this episode, though, in my opinion, definitely is good, and I'll go ahead and give it a score, too. This one is also getting another 120 points, too. It's definitely getting another 120 points, too. I definitely really like this episode a lot. I really do. This one is definitely really good. This is a very good episode. I like this episode a lot. I will say, though, it's probably not my favorite. It's not my favorite episode of the entire show. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't I just don't think it's my favorite. Like, it's a good episode, trust me. Don't get me wrong, it is a very, very good episode. But I just think there's an episode down the road that I like even more. And that just shows you. That shows you, again, that shows you how good pre-movie SpongeBob is with episodes. The fact that this is a very good episode, and it's not even my favorite, just shows you how good, it shows you how good that SpongeBob can be, you know? I mean, yeah, it has some bad episodes, you know, but that I've reviewed so far and all that, but again, this shows you how good it is. So this marks the first appearance of Squilliam, you know, which is Squidward's rival, which I didn't want to put a fun fact in because people have already talked about it. You know, but yeah, this is the first time Squilliam appears in the episode, which Squilliam actually doesn't disappear as well. He disappears as well, like he disappears and then he comes back and he disappears again. It's kind of weird, but he randomly disappears and all that, like. But so, like, SpongeBob having Bubble Bass as a rival, I guess they decided to give Squidward one. Which I'm just like, I don't know why they gave Squidward a rival. But honestly, it does have some good episodes in it. And this one's definitely one of them. But this episode is about Squidward trying to perform a band. Oops, sorry, not that one yet. It's trying to perform a band. You know, because, Squidward wants to, prove to Squilliam that he's better than him and all that. So he performs his whole band. Yeah, you get this whole band and all that, by the way. You get this whole band. Which, by the way, has a bunch of funny jokes in it. And we get a bunch of, like, characters and all that. Like, we get Larry the Lobster. We get Mrs. Puff. We get Plankton. We get, like, pretty much everybody there, which is really cool. We even get the guy, the bluefish guy who makes fun of SpongeBob in the squirrel jokes episode, which I didn't point that out, but yeah, he's in this episode too. He has the same voice actor too, so he must be the same fish because they use the same fish models a lot throughout the entire show. So but they do sometimes show more than one fish, in each episode that has the same look, design, and all that. But I do like how they pretty much include everybody, and I like how Squidward actually gets a happy ending. Yeah, Squidward gets a happy ending at the end of the episode. Apparently, it's apparently stadium. This football stadium and all that. And even to this day, it's still a very icon. Nickelodeon even uses it to promote SpongeBob. Because it's such an iconic, scene. I like, though, too, I do like the characters, quotes, like, even Patrick's, like, these are some ugly-looking fish, talking about the humans, how they look so ugly. It's very funny, and I like how they talk about toxic waste dumps and all that, which is pretty funny. The footage looks very old though, so I'm like, when was this footage taken? I don't know. Like it looks very old. Like it looks like it looks like it was taken in the 90s or 80s or something. Like it looks very old. I don't know. But the graphics don't look very good on the camera, which is very crazy. But, yeah, for the most part, though, this episode definitely is very good. Definitely very good and all that, and, it even has a very good musical number at the end of the episode, too. Apparently, it's Sweet Victory, apparently, is a parody. I think it's a parody of another song. Or, actually, I think it's either a parody or it's like a similar, like, song. I don't know, like, Jim Reviews, talked about it in his top 10, best, SpongeBob music tracks. You guys can check that out if you want. Him and Pie Guy Rules are no longer activated by on YouTube, by the way, but you guys can still check out their content. But he talked about that, so I don't remember if it's actually a parody or not. I think it's at least a parody of something, but I don't know if it's actually a complete knockoff of another song. I don't know. But it's still a pretty good song. I really do like it. But that's pretty much all I have to say about it. And now I want to move on to the last episode we have. The last episode we have in today's video is Graveyard Shift, which is the one I revealed right here. Didn't mean to do that. Yeah, Graveyard Shift is next. This episode here, this one is actually another very memorable episode because of the hash-slinging slasher. So apparently Mr. Krabs, of course, wants more money. You know, because so he forces SpongeBob and Squidward to like stay at the Krusty Krab for 24 hours. Apparently, yeah, he's forced to stay there they're forced to stay there 24 hours. Which, by the way, this is a concept they'll bring back in Season 4. Which I'll talk about that one down the road. But this episode just focuses on mainly one night. And apparently the hash-slinging slasher is apparently a story Squidward made up to mess with SpongeBob. He messes with SpongeBob and all that. And apparently it scares SpongeBob to death. And apparently the whole story starts to become true because he starts noticing signs. Like apparently number one, there's like apparently the phones or the lights are flickering and all that, and then there's like apparently the phone's raining and all that. I guess they even reveal apparently there's green slime coming out of the walls, which are just like, I'm like, yeah, this place doesn't seem any more clean than the freaking chum bucket. But I don't know, it's just kind of weird. But it doesn't seem to be any more clean than the chum bucket, but if there's slime coming out of it, but I guess to be fair, it's like dirty everywhere where that's just in the walls, but I don't know, so kind of crazy, but I do like how apparently it reveals that it's apparently real and all that, like apparently he's standing outside the bus, and apparently one thing I want to point out that's really ironic. Now, this is actually very ironic, though. I want to point this out. That apparently, I don't know what's with this scene, but apparently Squidward has got strings coming out of his head. Like, I don't know why it's coming out of his head. It's very weird. Like, it's kind of disturbing, but, the same thing happens to SpongeBob, too, but with his eyelashes. So it's kind of weird there and all that, but apparently they're both scared, and we get a scene where we get to see apparently Squidward reveals that apparently he actually likes SpongeBob. I'm not sure if he's saying that because they're about to die or what, but apparently it's just some random person, I guess, wanting to actually apparently he just wants a job as a fry cook. Which, by the way, we never really see him again. I think we might see him in the background. I don't know. But sadly, we don't see him again. And it's probably because Mr. Krabs probably won't pay him. Or, probably just wants, free labor out of him. I don't know. But it is very ironic to, to see that, But it's very ironic to kind of see all that, in the episode. Apparently at the end of the episode, too, it has a horror movie reference. Apparently, Nosferatu, or whatever his name is, how you would pronounce him. Apparently, he's in the end and all that, flicking the lights. Like shame on you for, like, burning out the electricity and wasting the electricity bills. I guess to be fair though, it's more on money Mr. Krabs has to pay, so I guess it's not. I guess maybe he's doing a favor there. I don't know, but I will tell you guys this heads up. This show really likes to use this character because apparently in the modern seasons they will use him literally all the damn time. I don't know how to feel about that because I'm like, I have not seen the newer episodes, but by what I've heard, what I've seen, it seems like he appears in like a ton of episodes, which I'm just like, I'm like again, like having him appear that many times is just crazy. But yeah, apparently it's an old school horror, an old school horror, movie that apparently that came out. It's like a silent film. So that's pretty interesting. I don't really watch horror movies, so I wouldn't know that, but I'm guessing probably, like, I don't know if he would have been in public domain when this came out or not. Because they keep extending the, the years and all that, but, I'm guessing he has to be in public domain now, but, like, maybe that's why they're able to use him more. I don't know, they used him as a reference before that, so, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but yeah, for the most part, though, like I said, I don't know, there's not, like, a ton to talk about in this episode, but, like, I will say it's definitely a very memorable one. I think I'm going to go ahead and just give it a score so I can wrap things up here. So I'm going to give this episode here is going to get a good and 120 points. Yeah, 120 points. Yeah, this episode is very good. This episode is a very good episode. I probably would say this one right here, like for the first time, I'll say in this video, I'll say this one's probably not my favorite of the pre-movie era episodes, but I definitely think, or I guess I should say at all times, but I will say it's still a very memorable episode. Just not as interesting as some of the others I've talked about. But definitely a very interesting episode in a way. It just makes me kind of wish. It makes me wish that more restaurants like this were open 24 hours. That'd be kind of nice. I mean, opening 24 hours for the Krusty Krab could be good, and Mr. Krabs would actually hire more workers, but Mr. Krabs, again, plays it cheap and doesn't want to do that, so, that unfortunately wouldn't work out very well, because we will see that again in another episode in Season 4, but that's it, though. That's it for, Season 2, Part 3. This is it for Season 2, Part 3. Yeah, a good journey so far and all that, and I can't wait to wrap the season up. But, this is actually kind of fun doing it like this, instead of having it all in one video. Unfortunately, though, after so long, my voice starts to kind of go out, and I start to, like, my breath starts to run out, so, there is that, but I don't know, but for the most part, like I said, I am having fun with this stuff. I can't wait to finish up the videos for you guys the next time. Anywho, see you guys later, and in the next video. Bye-bye.